Hello. In this video, we are having a microscopic view of thoughts. We are trying to understand ingredients of thought, contents of thoughts, and life cycle of thoughts. General flow of mental process, how we are jumping from one thought to another. Basically, anatomy of thinking. I am using some core Buddhist concept also in this video. If we list out what all happens in mind, most of the time you are thinking. Sometimes thoughts are emotionally charged, like anger, love, hate, animosity, lust, etc. Sometimes we revisit past event, very old event or recent event just happened today. This happens in this priority. Sometimes we are just planning the future. Sometimes you are creating a story with or without people. It's kind of daydreaming. It actually did not happen or probably will not happen. Many times you are twisting old story, what happened, and create a new story, what should have happened. Repetitively, you are sometimes regressing over what already happened, again and again, replaying the movie. Sometimes you feel the repetition is not in your control. You are obsessed. Sometimes you feel compulsion in thinking, compulsion to act, or helpless to stop thinking. If this both is too extensive, it is called obsessive compulsive disorder. But most of us are having invisible obsessive compulsive disorder. Sometimes we just keep thinking because it is important. You might forget it otherwise. So you keep repeating because you don't know how to postpone and recollect it later. This all I listed. Let me know in comment if you want to add anything more to this list. In fact, you can pause this video and meditate for a few minutes and come back when you realize that you are thinking. If we draw a primitive diagram of thinking, it will be like this. Anyone will agree. As per this diagram, you have started meditation. That means you have chosen a goal or object to focus. It could be an object to see, sound to hear, sound to chant, or it could be subtle object like breathing or sensation, or it could be just a silence to observe, whatever. This applies to non-meditation as well. There you are not meditating on object. Instead, starting point is just being in present moment. And after some time, you realize that you are thinking, and you gently come back to starting point or goal. Then enter into unconscious mind game and suddenly realize. At this point, if I ask some basic question, you might not be able to answer most of them. Like 1. How did you realize you are thinking? And how did you realize to come back to starting point? How long you have been thinking? How long you have been in starting point? Is it fresh thinking or you have been here so many times? Can you categorize underlying emotion like anger, fear, lust, or just time pass? Let's go a little more deeper. Actually, while you are thinking, there were many thoughts, and you jumped from one thought to another. And the diagram now looks like this. And so here are a few more questions. 1. How many thoughts passed by? How long it took? What was your previous thought? And keep tracing as far as you can until starting point. Are all thoughts about one subject, or was it really a monkey jumping from tree over tree rather than branch over branch? Guys, you need at least 1 or 2 years of meditation practice to even answer this question or even understand rest of my video. But you can stay here just as information. Okay, some more question. What triggered you to jump from previous thought, or what was the association between any thought with its previous thought? And keep tracing as far as you can until starting point. How long did you stay in previous thought? Again, keep tracing as far as you can until starting point. This whole train of thoughts is called mental proliferation or conceptual proliferation. It's called prapanch in Buddhism. I will dedicate a new video to explain prapanch in detail later. But here we are focusing on entities of prapancha or a single thought. The core teaching of Buddhism describes 12 links called dependent origin links, one causing the other. These 12 links are called paticca samuppada, out of which 5 are in present moment. I will introduce only that. I will dedicate another new video to explain whole paticca samuppada in detail later. Okay, so here comes what I experience, and I will also validate it again Buddha's teaching. When I was in any state, either it is a starting point or thought 1 or thought 2, etc., something pops up in my mind. It's either a scenery, a sound, a word, whole sentence, a person, or past memory or past intention. Let us call this object. In Pali, alamban. Instead of object, Buddhists coin a new word called phassa. and they used fassa more often than alamban. Fassa means contact. Because the object came in contact with your consciousness, that is more important. You can call it sense impression of the object. Fassa, sense impression. Your indulging with it invokes past experience related to it. Past experience, basically three mental entities rises: intention, sensation and perception. Buddha called them Chetna, Vedana and Sanna. Though this process is very complex and very quick and involves many trial and error to go through a database of information which is stored in your mind, retrieve them and realign. These are parallel and they are been described in Nibedika Sutta by Buddha. Why these three are in parallel? I can explain this. You know that we do lot of tasks unconsciously. Because our conscious mind is slow and consumes more memory, more energy, it needs full 300 milliseconds to respond. For example, when you touch fire, you take back the hand. Even before you realize it is a fire, you perceived it is a fire. So perception took more time than action. This proves that it is not sequential. These three are in parallel. This is good for survival mechanism. Otherwise, you will take a lot of time to take back your hand and might endanger your life. These three are parallel faculties altogether until full consciousness wake up. We can roughly say it would have taken 100 milliseconds just to arrive at past experience, means all these three. It's trial and error game of multiple attempts, and this is also one of the reasons for famous saying that what we see is what we want to see, because perception and feeling and intention are influencing each other. This is like you have seen many visual images, whereas you get false understanding, like to old lady and young lady picture. There are many such pictures. It depends on what you want to see. Okay. As per Buddhist, Vedana or feeling is not emotion. It's very primitive emotion. Generally we say, I feel like so and so. The psychological term is hedonic tone, best describing Vedana. Buddha also said that mental phenomena called feeling is associated with physical phenomena called sensation, or you can say they are just two sides of a coin. On realm of mind it is feeling, on realm of body it is sensation. And this is only found by Buddha. No one said it before him. In fact, whole Buddhist practice depends on this finding. Though this initiation is very subtle and probably takes less than 100 milliseconds, out of these three, the one that invokes or touches higher consciousness or your conscious mind is feeling. There are two probabilities of higher consciousness or two paths of higher consciousness, skilled and unskilled. Vidya, avidya. Path of avidya or unskilled rises first. It invokes desire, called tanha in Pali, which acts like gate pass for stored intention. Now intention is there, the higher conscious is now gate passing it into consciousness, allowing it basically. It's like you see a liquor and your intention is to drink. Now your higher consciousness is allowing you to drink, allowing the intention to manifest that way, which was originally unconscious intention, now becomes conscious intention, and it now has the force or intensity of the intention. This force is based on history. Buddha called it upadan. Upadan is termed as clinging, but literally means fuel. Even Buddha used fire as metaphor many times. Anyway, we can take both meaning, fuel and clinging. A false I consciousness or ego consciousness clings to mind and body. I am this body, I am this mind. Basically, four aggregates, that is the form and mind. The nama. Nama means these three. Intention, feeling and perceptions becomes I and get fueled by them. Being fueled, it gets the force of them. We can also call this force as obsession and compulsion, which is inherited from history. History of how many times you have said yes or no to drinking. We call one is obsessed when it appears again and again. We call one is compulsive when intention is uncontrollable. Even though consciously you don't want to drink, but you are helpless. It becomes compulsive drinking. Any point of time, another higher consciousness called Vidya or Panna or wisdom also can rise. It would have been great if it invoked before desire. Then your stillness would have been undisturbed and the intention would have been pacified. However, this needs practice of years. A medium practitioner, mostly, it begins at the end of a thought. And for beginner, it invokes the wisdom rises at the end of many thoughts that I am thinking. Avidya leads to strengthening the habits. This ignorance, in the presence of ignorance, you are actually surrendering to old habits. Now being protected by this obsession and compulsion, the intention leads to manifestation or becoming, called bhava in Pali. Manifestation can also be fulfilled by daydreaming, visualization or night dreaming or any other kind of papancha. But there may or may not be physical manifestation, physical action, depending on lot of other factors. Buddha called intention as karma and not your physical action as karma due to this reason. But definitely the force increases and the experience gets restored into memory with more force. And it will take birth again. This stored intention is called sankhara. So in short, we can say avidya invokes sankhara. Avidya pachaya sankhara, leading to birth again. Avidya pachaya sankhara pachaya, rebirth consciousness, and in appropriate condition it reappears. Avidya pachaya sankhara pachaya, rebirth consciousness, pachaya mind body. Now at appropriate time, when object or similar object, let's say drinking, you see a liquor, phassa, contact. Four, thing, intention, vedana, sanna, this is liquor, is a sanna. Perception, you saw a bottle and you perceived it as a drink, but the vedana leads to higher consciousness, and if the higher consciousness is unskilled, unpracticed, you can say, then it invokes the desire, tanha. Then it clings to the intention with the force of intention, that is obsession or compulsion, leading to physical action and or also leading to becoming, which will again go to rebirth consciousness, ultimately leading all these things to the misery, dukkha. These 12 links are called dependent origination, paticca samupada. You may take example of addiction once again. When you are thinking many thoughts, it is like this. So like one bhava chakra becomes the object or triggers another bhava chakra, another thought. One thought triggers another thought, that thought triggers another thought, and like that the train of thoughts continues. In next video, we will see how to build the faculty to see or to be attentive in your meditation, where you can see all the 12 links. Attentiveness. It is called mindfulness practice. And this builds the wisdom that I am talking about, the second path called vidya, which then you can become a master, where you are starting to the point of feeling vedana. The moment you see physical sensation in your body, you can stop it and stop this whole cycle. Thank you.